established quorum for the second time today. Secretary, please call the roll.
Laura?
Aye.
Laura, here.
Here.
Bates? Here. Bates, here. Bell? Hill?
Here.
Hill, here. Leyva? Here. Leyva, here. Mendoza?
Aye. Here.
Mendoza, here. Nielsen? Nielsen, here.
Well, we do have a quorum. We're waiting for our authors. Waiting for a author. Dinner. Senator Williams. Members, this is file item AB 802. It's a due pass recommendation as amended. Senator Williams, the floor is yours.
Well, I'll just briefly let you know, Senators, and thank you, Mr. Chair, for this special meeting, that this bill resolves two barriers to the governor and the pro tem's 23 efficiency goals. Really, the first is stranded energy savings. Nearly 2/3 of available savings in our building stock is below Title 24. And because more of our buildings are old buildings than new buildings. And there's no legal way to make those come up to code. So we have to do that by incentives. The second is to correct ineffective implementation of the Energy Commission's existing building benchmarking program. This would allow correct and streamline barriers to the program by giving building owners the option to request aggregated whole building monthly usage information, which is vital if you're a building owner and you're not just doing this because you want to be green and live in a better world, but you need to make ends meet, or you need to get financing for it. You need to show that you have a payback period for that building. And you can't really do that without getting whole building monthly usage information in the same effective manner. The costs to the CEC should be minimal, as they are already charged with implementing the benchmarking program. And ABA 802 will help bring California several steps closer to avoiding the worst effects of climate change.
Thank you. Witnesses in support.
Good evening, committee. I'm Maria Stamas with the Natural Resources Defense Council. We strongly support AB 802 because it expands opportunities to achieve energy efficiency in California and is essential to meeting the state's long-term climate and air quality goals.
Perfect.
Yeah, okay.
Mr. Chair, members of the committee, Valerie Terla-Vlahos with PG&E. We strongly support the below code savings to bring our buildings up to code and beyond, and getting our customers those stranded savings, including operational, behavioral, and retro-commissioning activities. Just want to note that the state, as a customer of investor-owned utilities and a participant in energy efficiency programs, one could stand to upgrade more buildings. That could be an opportunity here. The bill does not necessarily require that the current energy efficiency authorized budget be increased. So I just wanted to point that out and strongly ask for your aye vote.
Thank you. Additional witnesses in support.
Tamara Raspberry, representing the San Diego Gas and Electric Utility and the Southern California Gas Company, in support.
Thank you.
Erin Niemela, representing the Energy Efficiency Industry Council, also in support. Thank you.
Nick Pappas with Southern California Edison in support.
Ignacio Hernandez on behalf of Turn in support.
Sylvia Solisha on behalf of the City and County of San Francisco and the Office of Mayor Ed Lee in support. Thank you.
Christopher Extree on behalf of the City of Santa Monica in support.
Thank you. Additional witnesses in support. Witnesses in opposition. Please come forward. Finance, I don't see finance here. Questions or comments from committee? Seeing none. There are some technical amendments we're taking that include, I think, a fix and a drafting error, correct?
That's right.
And we're committed in the Senate Energy Committee. Perfect. Just want to make sure. Members, there's a motion by Senator Hill on AB 802, and it's due pass as amended to the Senate floor. Secretary, please call the roll.
Laura?
Aye.
Laura, aye. Bates? No. Bates, no. Bell? Aye. Bell, aye. Hill? Aye. Hill, aye. Leyva? Aye. Leyva, aye. Mendoza? Aye. Mendoza, aye. Nielsen? No. Nielsen, no.
5-2, that item is out.
Thank you, Senators.
Thank you. Members, the next item we have is AB 199 by Senator Eggman. She is here. Senator Eggman.
Thank you, everybody. And thank you very much for taking your very valuable time to hear this bill today that I've been working on for 3 years. So I'm so excited to have it before you today. I present to you AB 199, a sales and tax use exemption for recycling projects. Members, we see a lot of bills about tax exemptions for movie stars and rocket ships, but for those of us who come from places where we really have to fight for jobs, I think this is the prototype of that kind of job that I started working on when I was in the city council in Stockton. How do we take trash and make it into jobs for people to be able to get back to work and work to save the environment at the same time? And Mr. Chair, I understand that you have been working diligently on finding ways to audit tax credits to ensure that they're not a giveaway. And we think this bill is a prototype for that kind of thing. With this bill, recycling companies would be eligible to receive the tax credit if and only if they prove to the state treasurer's office, who is in support of this bill, that they provide a net benefit to the state. Additionally, this bill has a 5-year sunset, which at that point we can evaluate the result of that tax exemption. By supporting AB 199, we'll create jobs, lower greenhouse gas emissions for the state of California. This comes from an already existing fund that has never been used to its full capacity. That was before for energy projects. We think this makes perfect sense to include these kinds of projects into that, put Californians back to work, lower our greenhouse gas, and give those of us who are living in inland California a little bit more piece of the American pie.
Thank you. Witnesses in support.
Good afternoon, Nick Lapis with Californians Against Waste. We've done a great job separating recyclables over the last 30 years as a state, but we haven't done as great of a job keeping those recyclables here and using them as inputs for California's manufacturing economy. We export 20 million tons each year, worth over $8 billion. As we move to 75% recycling, we'll need to find a home for another 22 million tons. If we do that here in California and keep the materials here for California manufacturers, we can generate another 110,000 jobs in the state. This is a reintroduction of AB 1021, which went through the Senate. In the meantime, the Senate member has been working diligently to make sure that this program is needed and is a valuable addition to the existing sales tax exemption, and we urge your aye vote. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair, members of the committee, Paula Treat. I represent the plastic recyclers, PET recyclers. So they make bottles out of bottles and plastic into other things. So one of the things that I know we're short on time, but the two things that I wanted to make sure that everybody knew is one, it's not only a bipartisan bill because there have been no votes, but it has 3 strong conservative Republican co-authors, which I think shows that they realize that these are jobs in their district too.
That's supposed to help us here, or?
Well, I'm looking over at Pat.
Let's look at this bill all over.
Yeah. But in addition to that, in addition to important green jobs, I'd like to say that I personally have right now 3 of my largest recyclers who are looking to expand. And they're looking to expand. Do they expand in California? Do they expand someplace else? I want to keep those green jobs here. So I'm really hoping that you can put this through as soon as possible and we can get going on this immediately instead of waiting until next year. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. Michael Shaw with the California Manufacturers and Technology Association. And to be brief, we support AB 199 because it creates an opportunity for us to take more advantage of the materials here in California. It does have the benefit of reducing greenhouse gas emissions, creating jobs, which are all positive things. It also provides a bit of an incentive for California manufacturers to make use of recycled feedstock in their products. So it helps us, continue that supply chain and strengthen it within California, as opposed to just purchasing raw materials coming from other places as well. So we think it makes a lot of sense on every different level, and the accountability of the program we think will be a good example to follow with other tax credit programs and sales tax exemption programs going forward.
Mr. Chair, Josh Malone for the Compost Coalition. We have compost facilities throughout the state. We're really excited this will help us meet all the regulatory burdens that are on the industry. They're necessary, but they're expensive. We hope we can meet those burdens, keep the air and the water clean, get jobs out there, and bring that organic matter into the soil, back into the farms where it should be rather than tips. Thank you.
Mr. Chair, members of the committee, Mark Aprea, I'm here on behalf of Republic Services, urging your aye vote. And as we've spoken with your staff, as we did with Mr. Ting on the Assembly side, this measure will accelerate our investment into recycling equipment and its installation and operation, specifically in 2 facilities in Los Angeles County and 1 in the San Francisco Bay Area, and we would urge your aye vote.
Mr. Chair, members, Christopher Castrillo on behalf of the California Product Stewardship Council, the Solid Waste Association of North America, California chapters, and Los Angeles Mayor Eric Garcetti, all in support. Thank you.
Sylvia Solisha on behalf of the City and County of San Francisco and the Office of Mayor Ed Lee in strong support.
Mr. Chair and members, Erin Niemela representing Replanet, which is the largest convenience zone site recycler in the state. We're in support of the bill. We'd like to locate a plant here to take all of the product that we take in, but this sales tax exemption would help with that. Thank you.
Mr. Chair, members, Josh Pana on behalf of the California Refuse Recycling Council, 125 companies throughout the state, both recycling and solid waste companies. We'd urge your aye vote on this measure. Thank you.
Thank you. Additional witnesses in support. Witnesses in opposition. I don't see finance. Comments or questions from committee? There's a motion by Senator Leyva, but before we take a vote, I just want to say I want to commend your work on this, Assemblywoman Eggman. It is true, I am looking at reviewing tax incentives in the state. I think it's important for us because this is real money we're talking about. And in a time when we're prioritizing our investments, we want to make sure that we're getting the best result from these tax incentives. But I think we do have to do a much better job, not only when it comes to waste, closing that recycling loophole, but also having a discussion about how do we convert waste to energy, which is where we're far behind in terms of what other countries are doing. And so I think this bill is one of that gets us to continue to have this discussion. I think it's important to have, and commend your work that you've been doing for the last couple of years. Members, this bill does meet the suspense criteria, but given the support that we've received, I'm going to use my prerogative as chair and recommend it do pass as amended. I know there's chaptering out amendments, so I want to make sure we say you're going to take those. So with that, the motion is do pass as amended to the Senate floor. Secretary, please call the roll.
Laura?
Aye.
Laura, aye. Bates? Aye. Bates, aye. Bell? Aye. Bell, aye. Hill? Aye. Hill, aye. Leyva? Aye. Leyva, aye. Mendoza? Aye. Mendoza, aye. Nielsen? No. Nielsen, no.
6-1, that measure is out. This concludes our Appropriations Committee for this hour.